And welcome to us live straight from a basement down in the streets of Parkview, Peru, Indiana. We got Matthew Thunder and Johnny Danger. Together they are Thunder and Lightning, the best tag team since the Jacuz brothers. Are you ready?
No one's ready.
Pull your tight.
We're the greatest tag team since the Jacuz brothers.
Bring it in, brother.
Call it tag.
Who was the tag team?
The Jacuz brothers.
The French Revolution.
Yeah, we're the best tag teams since the Jacuz brothers.
That doesn't say much, but
I like their jacuzzi.
yeah.
Shut up.
Their jacuzzi. I fucked it up already.
We are the Pull the Tights podcast.
I don't think you've got that right once.
I have never got that right. We got Jay Green to the left of me, Brandon Willis to the right of me, Jesse Powell to the catty corner right of me. That's a total direction.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Jesse.
We have beer, keg.
Yeah, we got kegs of beer. We've been watching the goddamn the NCAA tournament all day today.
Good.
It's been a shit show.
It's been a very big shit show. The
Yeah.
goddamn
We're in the middle of an 8-hour bender.
yeah, Stephen F. Austin really fucked me over today.
One of those double podcast nights.
Oh!
And I just got beer
This
dumped
asshole
all
is
over me.
That's a good one.
Good.
Just
As long as it wasn't on the computer.
You better get some napkins.
Bonzo!
Don't stir him up.
don't get him fired up, Danger.
He's stuck in the.
And now I'm soaking wet.
No, there's.
Coming down the aisle. Do that. Dance for me. Do that right now.
Can't do it. That's such a rip off of another podcast.
But it's funny when you do that. Have you heard JD Mox, Howard Finkel, Green Dog?
I've not heard it. I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I would
honestly.
too. Let's
That's
see the Johnny.
I'm
Let's
this
see
is
the Howard
the
Finkel.
first
I know
time
they
I've
don't
been
like
here,
one
so
where immediately
it's,
start laughing.
Pool table. There's some napkins. Should be.
Napkins are really going to do the trick right here.
the Fink is one of the best announcers of all time.
Well,
I think we can safely say that.
My dog
Do an
peed
impression
on
of
that.
another podcast's version of
Peed on
one.
it earlier.
Do the
you
impersonation
smell
of the
dog
Johnny D podcast.
Oh, I need to be plugged in.
I gotta wear these pants to work tomorrow.
Well, you're gonna smell like dog pee
And beer.
and beer.
Fuck it.
We've done a podcast in the pre.
Oh!
I don't know what that means, pal. We've done podcasts in the past where we've done impersonations of other wrestlers that were just awful. Well, we did. Green Dog, you in on this?
I could be in on it. We'll see what you guys have to offer. I'm not sure what.
We redo it.
I'm not sure where you guys are at with
Where is
it.
the
I don't know if I
intern?
can
I need-
handle it.
Intern.
Brando,
I need dry towels.
are you in on the impersonations?
Hey, I need this plugged into
Because
a
I do
power
great
strip.
impersonations.
We all do great impersonations. Well, the shtick is
I would like to nominate Green Dog to do his Macho Man.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I
look
got
over
is the
there.
Macho Man. That's my
the shtick of it is that we get Danger to do impersonations. He claims he's not good at impersonations.
What is this schlick term you keep? Is this a podcast term?
What, schlick?
Yeah, slick.
Shtick.
What do you say?
Shtick. It means it's their thing.
Yeah,
It's what they do
Yeah.
for their it's their verbal finishing move.
Verbal?
That's what they do. I know we aren't accustomed to this podcast, but hey, we gotta come with what they got.
You
know
got,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you gotta just
Just trying to familiarize.
follow our
I can
follow our shitty lead.
I can shtick anybody. You know what
You
I'm
guys are
saying?
gonna say Schlitz malt liquor.
Schlitz.
Well, that-
Malt liquor is the best liquor to drink. You can liquor in the butt and poke her in the front.
See,
Schlitz is a
that's why I
terrible
keep
liquor.
feeling it growing.
Way to go, Green Dog. You just
Schlitz
fucked us.
is
getting
a
our
terrible
shit.
liquor.
You only
Schlitz.
buy Schlitz if you don't want.
Hey.
If you want to buy it, so no one else will drink it. If you leave it at the party, that's
Hey,
the only reason you buy
Schlitz.
Schlitz.
That's
Schlicker in the front
solid
and
theory.
schlicker in the back. But Schlitz.
Let's hear this Howard Finkel.
Yeah, I totally want to hear Howard Fink.
Meister.
No, we need.
Oh no! I know I can't do Howard Finkel anymore because I just forgot how to do it.
Some Finkermeister.
No, No, let's
Here,
do a whole,
all right. Well, okay. Yeah, we'll do all the impersonations because that's the only way to get you to do impersonations.
Right. Only if it's like a game.
No,
then it's
JR. Hey, Chucky. Hey,
He's having a stroke.
All right.
Who was that?
JR.
I guess I was
Undertaker!
Everyone can do pole bear.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Mercy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm still not 100% sure who you just did. And you're gonna do my impersonation.
Hey, I did that chick right there.
Who? Pat
On that
Benatar?
No.
Patinator?
Pat
For the record, I do Pat Benatar.
Oh, I totally fucking.
Patinator,
I'd fuck her right in the butt. My time.
Yeah, I fuck around in pussy.
To this day.
If we're doing chicks that we'd impersonate to have sex with, let me do Pat Benatar right now. You know, that's how I feel.
That
about
would be
it.
your number one choice.
Yeah.
I'd like to start with-
Not my number one
I'd
choice.
like to start with Taylor
But
Swift.
she'd be in the discussion.
I mean, she's top 5 at least.
Yeah. I mean, Pat Benatar's got it going on.
She's got a few good songs.
Yeah.
And by a few good songs, I mean she's got one good song.
Yeah, she hit me with her best shot. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I doubt it.
We need a button that just does
Singer.
like a fucking like a rim shot. Put them.
Okay, well, we have 2 impersonations left: Green Dog and JD.
Yes, because I'm totally not doing impersonation.
Well, my only thing is, oh yeah, snap it to a Slim Jim. Ah!
That was Hulk Hogan by Jay Green.
Yeah.
Hulk
Come on. You went with the
Same
Slim
guy.
Jim. You went the Slim Jim.
Same guy.
You should have at least went with I'm the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
Danger.
I didn't know that I was gonna be.
do Jim Cornette or interviewing Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What the fuck?
Talking to
How
Triple
about
H.
you go fuck yourself?
Well, we're not doing impersonation.
Do a whole-
like,
Yeah, you're giving me a whole scenario.
well, we're just asking you to do
Not
one
one
impersonation.
of them that I
Yeah, that
didn't even
seems
have
legit.
fun.
That seems legit.
But then Howard Finkel introduces all of them.
Dude, Jim Cornette interviewing Andre the Giant at
From
WrestleMania
his
2.
podcast, just saying the word fuck.
56 beers.
All
This
right.
guy drinks at one time.
So the,
Don't
so
give me a real impression. Don't give me one of my fucking shticks.
Okay.
well, your
me
sticks are
something.
You want a
good.
random
Yes, give
impression?
me something different.
Why?
How about?
I feel like your stick's good.
All
Triple
right.
H slapping
Because it's
China
not-
in the face while accepting the.
What the fuck? You guys like brothers like Triple H, and you guys be like, fucking the game. And now you're like, Triple H fucking proposing to Stephanie.
Brutus
on
of Harbor
fucking-
Beefcake.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Bad News Brown.
I have no idea. I'm fucking honky.
Let's see some.
Well, you just say white
wait.
racial slurs in your bad
Here's
news
some
brown.
Wyatt family and their crazy chants.
Dude, just do your best.
Just do fucking Jim Cornette. Everyone wants to hear Jim
Bicycle
Cornette.
by
Am I right?
King.
I would like to hear Jim Cornette. I haven't been here for
I
Jim
feel
Cornette.
like he
I
did a
didn't.
Jim
I
Cornette
didn't
earlier,
hear
right?
He isn't a Jim
I feel
Cornette.
like he's better than that.
Have you
I
done
don't
Jim
know if I
Cornette?
can't just fucking bust something specific out.
Mouth
We're
of
not doing impersonations. 'cause
Mouth
we're
of
fucking
the
doing
South.
impersonation.
No.
You got no
That's not
impression.
Jimmy Hart?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, dance.
What does he
Dance.
say?
The mouth of the South.
What the fuck does he say? He's the mouth of the South. I can't
Mouth-
think of one
the
thing
mouth
that
of
comes
the
out of his
South,
mouth.
Peru.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, just like yells in high pitched voice.
No, just
That was Kirk's impersonation right there.
I mean, it's solid.
God damn it.
Fuck, yeah, that was
just
it.
go with your best. What's your best impression?
I don't know.
Wrestler.
I don't have a best impression. They're all shitty.
You've
They-
never
all
done an
great.
They just make
impression?
Kirk laugh. He acts like they're fucking good.
Okay, well, make us
He's
laugh.
ridiculous.
First man,
I know you have a go-to impression.
Yeah,
What do you
come
do
on,
for
clown,
anything?
make us laugh.
Yeah, come on, clown.
Yeah.
If you do it, Matt will do it.
I would totally do whatever you're doing. I'll do
If
the
you-
impersonation, whatever you do.
All right, here. If you make Matt laugh with your impression, he has to do an impression.
Oh, you're gonna make me laugh no matter what you do. You can pull your dick out and start jerking on it. Like, is this funny, right, Kirk? And I'm gonna laugh instead.
Well,
Like,
that's
it's
a weird
ridiculous.
turn.
Funny
but-
because it's not hard.
That might be
There,
the best joke yet. There
your
you go.
turn.
That was his.
I'm
gold
almost
message.
positive. I'm almost positive if you pull your dick out, I'll start laughing too. So
Yeah, why not?
Because you got a small dick. That's
Why
why you're
not?
laughing. Your dick is tiny.
Well, who's to judge that? Have you seen his dick?
Well, let's not get into details here. I mean, come on.
come on, let's not get too personal.
What do you,
with
how much
this.
money? How much do you
Yeah,
make a year?
What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Do goddamn Jim Cornette. Do it right now.
I thought you had an outline, producer. Was this on it?
We're still
was
still waiting
JD
for
Mock's
that.
penis on your outline?
Okay, well, if we want to go down my outline, Brandon had previously mentioned China. Has anyone seen?
Yeah, she's got a penis.
China's recent
Yeah.
porns.
What about China's recent porns?
I have seen Backdoor to China.
Yeah.
And I own One Night in China.
Yeah,
With that
I've
clock.
seen every porn that
yeah.
China's released.
So we've all seen China's porn.
Oh, I totally
All right,
forgot
yeah.
So
about
we're,
that.
Yeah,
so
who-
we're all
who
familiar
wouldn't-
with
yeah.
China's porn.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of addicted to it.
Well, China's porn like
Hey,
specifically.
China's
something about
China's
China
no Linda
and
Taylor.
Well, I'm not familiar with the
No,
one that
I'm
Taylor
not
is
right.
I
speaking
dig-
of, but
I dig the celebrities in porn.
No, without question.
I like celebrities in porn,
And
but
it doesn't
I'm not
matter-
a
it
big
doesn't matter
China
if they're
fan.
good
Banging
looking or
China.
not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
If you're
go-
the dude banging China.
Yeah.
Before I even really watched porn, you know,
I
when
feel like
China
she'd
was
snap
still
my
in
dick
WD.
off.
Yeah.
And I
she's
have a
got-
pretty
she's got
small-
some
She's
strong
got some
fucking-
moves. She's
Yeah,
got
I have a
some moves.
pretty strong penis, and I feel like she would snap it
Well,
straight
it
off.
is a muscle.
Yeah, I feel
How
like.
do you like lift with your penis to get it strong?
No, I jerk off regularly though.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
So, well, I mean, I feel like it's
Here.
stronger than my hand. It
Sometimes
fights back constantly.
your penis overpowers your hand.
Oh, I mean,
No.
I quit.
So let's get back on topic.
Yeah,
no, China's porn. Hottest
was
seller.
that a topic that we had?
Yeah, was that something that you wrote
I
down?
wrote that down.
So X-Pac bang China? Is that what we're
Several
doing?
times.
Well, yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
They were married, I think, and they have a porn.
Okay. What's
We
the
let's
big
bring
deal?
it up. Let's bring it up
No
and get a
big
little
deal.
few highlights from the China.
Yeah, get- hey,
one
danger.
night in China.
Who cares?
Pull some shit up on your computer, and get viruses.
Oh no,
You shit.
no, you porn,
what you're talking
Pornhub, no viruses involved.
Can we smoke some drugs while we're doing this?
While we're doing it, yeah. All right, well,
Yeah.
if you were having sex with China, what would your finishing move be?
Requiem for a Dream.
What would your
I like that. I like that.
What's your finish?
What would it? What would the
Mine
Requiem
would clearly be the
involve?
4-star frog splash right in her face.
69 lanes.
Yes. Except I've only ejaculated on myself in the past 4 years. So.
Mine would be the stink face.
What? Is that a personal finish?
No, Rakishi used to do that, didn't he? Yeah.
Doing it before.
Yeah, throw it back.
Well before my time, my friends.
Hey, solid. I feel like
Whatever. Here's the thing.
mine would be the $1 million dream.
You're gonna choke her out?
Well, yeah, it's the only way I probably
With
could
my
have
dick.
sex with her.
That's the only way you're going to have sex with anyone, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why that's my go-to move.
They don't make roofies for no reason.
So you're drugging women and or choking them out before you fuck them.
Well, I'd like to think of it more as drugging them. I don't know about. I mean, choking them.
I mean,
either way.
I'm overpowering them.
Either way.
It's not rape because I overpowered them and knocked them out.
It would be like WrestleMania 2 for
appreciate
me, where I'd
you
be
using
in
my
the
last name
lead-in
when
match
talking about
as a
drugs.
midget match. You know, me and a midget out there,
Midget.
just really getting it on, like the good Lord wanted it to be. You know, that's how it is.
By the
I
way.
did, and that's what I'm saying. It's WrestleMania 2 all over again.
Would
You
you?
fucked a midget?
What is
I did. I had sex with a midget,
No way.
and
She was a midget.
that's no. I had a long night with her, which was a great night. Don't get me wrong. I had to meet her. I had to meet her from out of town. The only way I did know that she was a midget, though, was when she had my dick in her hand, and I just realized either I was having a huge night or she had really small fucking hands. You know what I mean? And
Then you found out she was a midget.
Because
right,
she
and I
had
think she may have been
cock in her
she
It was
hand.
not a huge night.
Your
No,
penis
but-
looked very large in her hand.
She may have been in the circus at one time too, because she began to
like
spin on my penis
She did tricks?
like a top. Yes,
circus tricks by
yes.
fucking you?
Well, I wouldn't call them circus tricks. Let's
That's-
be reasonable. I mean, geez.
Where else is she gonna do that trick at?
I don't know. I don't know
The
what she
circus. That's where she's gonna do that trick at.
Or porn.
does. Fair enough.
Porn.
Yeah. Well,
Is
I,
it-
Hey, let's table my sex life. I mean,
Why would we do that?
It's really not here nor there.
Has anyone else had sex with a midget?
Well, no.
Knowingly,
not.
knowingly, has anyone else?
I don't think so.
Going into it though, did you know she was a midget?
Did you
It
see her
wasn't-
midget card?
Or was it until she had your cock in her hand?
It was when she had my cock in her
How do
hand.
you
I
know that
really
she's
did
a
not
midget?
know. Well,
or a small person.
Well-
That's not being fucking racist and like rude.
let me
You should have known when she just held onto your leg everywhere you guys.
here.
Or maybe.
Here's gonna come a shocker to
Did
the
she have a
Thunder and
handicap
Lightning
sticker in
crew.
her window?
This is shocking.
Yes, this is breaking news.
All right.
I drink a lot.
What?
This just in.
So having sex with midgets
Yes.
is not
Well,
common.
it wouldn't be if more chicks would have sex with me.
Listen, if regular women would just have sex with me, I wouldn't have to fuck midgets.
But
Well, didn't you meet some other girls there that night before? And
I did. But they didn't seem as willing.
Hey. I'd do a midget.
boy or
Brandon
girl?
Willis.
Apt analysis.
Brandon Willis, everybody.
Hey, I don't care.
Oh shit! So you're fucking midgets.
Sometimes I like to watch China porn, and then I like to switch to midget porn.
I'm just saying, let's transition. Where did midget wrestling stop? I mean, why?
I don't even really realize that we were
Right.
talking about midget wrestling. I'm
Hornswoggle
pretty sure we were talking about fucking midgets. Now we're talking about midget wrestling.
is Hornswoggle
Well,
the best
that's why I
midget
tried to
wrestler of
transition
all
into
time?
it.
Difference.
Yeah,
I mean, where does beating up midgets?
I'm telling you, you go back to WrestleMania 2. King Kong Bundy had a successful match with a bunch of midgets.
well, he
Trying
fought
to tell
Hillbilly
me he
Jim at
wasn't
WrestleMania
hitting
3.
some of that?
Well,
Right.
how wouldn't he have a successful match against a bunch of midgets?
Exactly. Yeah. How could you go wrong there? I guess
But they still,
it's
I
kind
mean,
of like
look,
having
you
sex
got
with them.
Hornswoggle,
can't go
you
wrong.
got-
You just gotta do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
A
that.
successful
Yeah,
match
when
happened out
right,
Luchadors.
right, when you
What's the luchador's little?
They're not midgets, pal.
luchadors.
They're Mexicano.
yeah, that's Rey Mysterio Jr.
No, the
Los Matadores.
yeah, the Matadores. They got a little midget running around. He's got a feud with Hornswoggle.
Is that still going on?
They were like the Ninja Turtle fucking headband, like the new age with like the full headband bandana style.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm shocked that we've fallen off topic with a new producer. You know.
Yeah, we're
Fine, all
Come on,
right.
producer.
I mean,
Stop it.
Yeah.
I don't think we've gotten on the first topic. Yeah.
Started.
Yeah. I'm sure this is gonna last long.
Right. We've gotten into my sex
Finishing
life.
maneuvers of all time. Tag team, or individual.
I got a finishing maneuver for you.
Stone Cold Stunner.
That's
next
that's a
topic.
cool one. Yeah. Get out of here. Yeah.
You got any brain busters? Ooh.
I love
That was nothing more than a pile driver,
I
though.
love classic
That was a
classic
fun.
movies.
That was a
like
pile driver with another guy helping you pile
What?
drive someone. The brain buster, yeah, yes.
Brainbuster is a side suplex that they just drop straight down on your head.
Fact.
That's the brainbuster. God damn it, that's a brainbuster.
Crossface chicken wing.
Crossface chicken me. Now Kurt gave me shit.
What'd I
I'm
do?
liking that move.
I didn't give you shit. I think it's a great move. Now, we were discussing the greatest top 5 submissions of all time because we like to make lists around here.
Yeah, and I did not include that. I just brought it up, and then you fucking.
No, I
ripped
brought
me
it up.
New asshole.
I brought that up. I'm going to come across this goddamn table.
Play the tapes.
Hey, don't come on my table.
Yeah, let's go back on the tapes. Who's got it?
PTP episode 1.
Yeah, about 45 seconds in. Yeah, let's cue that up, fans.
The only way to judge is you put each other in the submission move.
What's the next move?
I've already put you in the figure 4.
Oh, the crossface chicken wing?
Yeah, the cross. Yeah, what
Where
else
are you
was
going
there?
with this?
What's his? I don't
You
know,
put me in the
were arguing
crossface
with them.
chicken wing, and I'll put you in the lion tamer.
Simultaneously?
No.
No. Whoever taps out first, there's a time limit.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
How does that not make any sense? Whoever lasts the longest in the other submission.
When's what? What do I win? What do I
want?
win?
What-
the only
what
submission
do you
can go
want,
for
Matt?
Is that
What do you want?
You get the figure
you
four
get to
leg
pick the
lock.
next topic because you apparently don't like mine.
I love your topics.
Would this be a good time for me to take my pants off?
Yes.
Is
Well,
that
we
where we're at?
were waiting for that.
Yeah,
time.
I know, but I was waiting for later in the podcast, but apparently it's got to happen now.
Is this a bad time for me to take my pants off? There's never a bad time for anyone to take their pants off.
That's the one that got spilled all over.
All right, I feel like this goddamn podcast is getting way off the rails.
Yeah, we got a producer, and then shit hit the fan.
Shit, fucker.
Yeah, you guys-
I felt confident going in, and we
You're
just
killing it.
we fell apart.
My lead actor is just completely slaughtering me right now.
First off, I'm not an actor.
Okay, Thunder, Tornado, what would you like to talk about?
Thunder and tornado.
I don't want to talk about anything except
How about
for
the weather?
So you don't
Thunder
even.
and tornado.
We should just turn your mic off and we'll do it without you.
Let's do it.
See, you don't even want to do it.
What? What, am I being kicked out of the podcast?
I don't believe that would happen. You're fired.
I mean, I knew this day would come.
What do you want to talk? You lead us then.
I'm not.
Let's
leaving.
think about it
fired.
after the break.
I'm fired.
Thunder, when there's a snowstorm and they say essential parties need to be here, you need to be here. that's the essential parties. So you are not being kicked out of the podcast.
I feel like his heart's not in it.
There's a.
My heart's always in a foul.
Your heart
I've never
foundation.
understood what essential parties
Your heart
were because
foundation.
they're not the big guys. I never see the big guys there when they say essential parties. You know what I mean? The president doesn't show up when it's essential parties.
No one knows what you
Right?
mean.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
But I agree. I'll tell you that
100%.
much.
You convinced me to be on board with whatever you're telling me.
hey, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you about snowstorms in Midwestern Indiana
They're killing
on a fucking Thursday afternoon in March.
We ready to take a quick break?
Please.
Good transition.
Because I need to fucking.
I had a beautiful transition earlier, but Matt told me to go fuck myself.
Yeah, Jesus.
What am I? I've never told anyone anything.
With your eyes, I was like, it's probably
Podcasts
like
are
perfect
just
time for a
fucking
break. And you
killing
were
it.
just like,
You have nothing to bring to the table. You're just telling everyone else to go fuck themselves.
I don't even.
Got a producer.
Get the new-
Hey, he has nothing
oh, go get the new
to say.
T-shirt.
JD's got
Kirk
JD's
says.
got- Yeah, he's got nothing to say either.
First off, that's a great T-shirt
I know,
idea.
That's a very good idea. That's a good one. Kirk says.
We'll be right back. You guys are on camera. You guys can't do shit. I asked you to do one fucking thing. You can't fucking do it.
How am I supposed to produce a show like that?
I asked you to do a fucking shitty Stone Cold impersonation, and all you're just like, I'm not doing that.
Where is our intern when we need him?
Right.
He's over there,
Dude on the
passed
chair.
out. Jesus Christ.
You can't put me on the spot like that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You can't be like, do this.
Why-
Okay.
Why do we even hire an unpaid intern?
Personally, I thought Stone Cold Steve Austin was here and was gonna do it himself.
That would have been fantastic.
That was.
Yeah.
I thought we had a guest coming this.
But we got
hour.
to do a quick plug of the
He
show,
might be here later.
Oh,
which
okay.
is we are doing.
Yeah,
the,
keep listening. Stone Cold might be here later this hour.
We may or may not.
We
He
put
also
in-
might forget.
We tweeted him earlier. We don't know.
There's about a 75% chance he's showing up.
Who, the Miz? I heard
Yeah.
the Miz was gonna show up.
The
Who
Miz
does
is-
a Miz impression?
The Miz might be here too.
I'm
awesome.
I came to play.
I was on the real world.
We first off, we need to say what we are. For you goddamn pieces of shit, get off the rails again.
The real is what?
This is the pull the tights podcast.
Yep.
I will never get that right ever.
You nailed it there.
I appreciate that.
Whose tights got pulled?
Jim the Evil Neidhart.
I will now officially take myself off this podcast after saying that. It's cool. I know.
I mean, your Jim Cornette is fantastic. I do not understand why you do not do it more often. Just a casual conversation while you're just not doing the. This is me. This is my impersonation of Jim Cornette being done by JD Mock. Well, fucking. That's my impersonation of JD Mock doing Jim Cornette.
And that's why I'm not doing it.
I mean, that was good.
Well, all you needed was a tennis racket. It would have been money.
Not that they would have
Pastel
saw that
tennis
on the
racket.
podcast, but I would have known what you were doing.
It wasn't scheduled.
But speaking of Jim Cornette, what is there a better wrestling manager than Bobby the Brain Heenan?
No.
No, there's not.
There's definitely
is there?
not.
No,
Jimmy Hart?
I think that's kind of like
Jimmy Hart can go fuck
it's
himself.
him and then everybody else,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
It's
100%
I mean,
true.
you
Slick
can't.
Rick?
I like Slick. I like the Master style.
style,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I'm not
like
gonna
him.
lie.
But he's not on. He's not on. Fuji was there. Fuji was there.
Kozuna-san.
But I just think Heenan's so far and
Heenan
away
was.
above everybody
Heenan,
else.
yeah.
He's
He
by
did it
far.
all.
That's
He
one where you
definitely
don't.
interfered
He did
more
it all,
than
and he
anyone
did it
else, which made he was true to his fighter.
Right. He had the
He was
Heenan
not
family
gonna
too.
let
He
this guy
he
lose.
developed his own brand, with the Heenan family. I mean,
Whoever was
there wasn't-
tied to
Right.
Heenan. I mean, Rick Rude.
But I don't
Andre
think he
the
really had a
Giant.
champion. He usually held the Intercontinental
Yeah,
champion.
Intercontinental champion.
And
Back
maybe the
then,
tag team
Intercontinental
He always
champion
had a
at the same
contender.
time. Right, yeah.
He always had a contender.
right, yeah. No, he was always there.
He
But
was
he
always
never won.
advanced.
He never won the big show. I don't
Well, that
think.
was his shtick,
He
though.
probably
Right,
just
right,
felt
right.
I was a
odd.
big fan of Haku, and I think it was a big part because of Bobby Heenan.
Oh, he was my favorite.
Well, the Colossal Connection.
Haku was solid. I,
just
mean,
liked
Haku was
man.
solid.
He was a big
solid,
He did a super
uh,
I feel
kick.
like, he was the super
Vicious.
kick before
Yeah.
it
But I
was
mean-
cool.
Looked vicious when he did it
Haku
too.
did the super kick
Had
before
Heenan
it was
by
cool.
his side, fucking.
I was going to say that in the last podcast when we
Man.
brought up
I mean,
Haku.
Ravishing Rick Rude and Mr.
Ooh,
Perfect,
yeah.
I don't think they really came into
The
their
Rude
own until they
Awakening.
got with Heenan.
And how much of
myself.
a pimp was Ravishing Rick Rude? He would make out with a chick from the crowd every show.
All you Pennsylvania piss ants.
Yeah,
every
yeah,
show.
Yeah. I just really feel like Heenan took guys to another level. He even did a good job with Andre the Giant, if somebody could have. He's the only guy you could have put with Andre the Giant, I think.
Yeah, you can't imagine Jimmy Hart jumping around.
Right,
with his
right,
fucking
yeah.
megaphone.
No way. Yet, Jimmy Hart went with Hogan at some points. But it was kind of...
Hogan had a tad more charisma than Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Nah,
He
about
just
the same.
stood there and sort of smirked. He's like, my fucking baby face tonight.
But that
What is he?
what was
Fucking
it? Was it
goddamn Ruth? What's that guy's name? Goonies? The fucking guy in the basement or whatever. Sloth. Well, Andre the Giant's got
Get your
him.
reference right, Kirk.
Sound like Sloth from.
There you
go.
go. Did they ride the rings down
3
to the?
and 5, I think.
I think it was 5 that I'm thinking of.
I think it was 5.
And Heenan was in
think it-
almost
no,
every
it was
match.
6.
In
No.
a ring? That was 3.
3 was definitely that, but I think it was 3 and 4 because 5 and 6 I think were both at Trump Palace.
No, it was
It was
6.
the
It was
the
6, the one
outdoor
I'm
one.
thinking at.
It was the outdoor one. when
Yeah,
they brought
yeah.
him down.
6 is the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. But Heenan rode down almost every match.
Well,
Almost every match he was somebody's manager because he was the
doing things.
manager of Haku and Andre the Giant, and Demolition beat them and they broke up.
right.
And he rode back with Haku because him and Andre got broke up at the time.
Well, I don't know. I
That's-
read an article the other day that said WrestleMania 3 was the
Says
last
here.
time that Andre the Giant really wrestled.
Well, maybe as a singles competitor.
Well-
He was in a lot of tag team matches.
Who was?
Andre went tag
a
team
special
after
attraction,
3.
yeah,
Yeah,
that wasn't his
After
last
3.
match.
I kind of felt
He went
like that
tag
too,
team,
'cause,
yeah.
WrestleMania
3 was when he got
86?
slammed. Well, 3 was when he got slammed by Hogan.
But they were unsure whether they were going to
He was
let
never the
Hogan
same.
slam him or
Right.
not because he was having back problems and he was going to retire before that match. But Vince McMahon talked him into wrestling again.
He died, what, 6 years later?
Yeah, I think he was definitely in WrestleMania 6. So that was 3 years
He
later.
wrestled, I think, up to about a year or two before his death.
Yeah.
He was at that Royal Rumble where it was like the year he died.
Yeah,
he was at
fuck
that
the
Royal
Wade
Rumble.
Boggs record. I'm going for the.
He was a gamer.
Andre
He
the
was a
Giant
gamer for
record.
sure. He was
112
willing to
years
get
in
in
one
there
sitting.
with anybody, I think.
Right, but he always had that fucking bullshit move. And people our age will say, "Oh, Andre the Giant was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time," which whatever. I totally get that. But at the same time, you're going to say, for someone who is our age, to sit here and tell me, "Yo, I remember when Andre the Giant was mobile and fucking could do all this shit." Fuck you. No, you don't. You know that shit from watching WWE Network. I remember Andre the Giant. I mean, I was young as shit. I remember WrestleMania 3 and Andre the Giant coming out, and he was fucking shit. He was not a good wrestler. It was more of, I'm a giant human being.
I like that part of his shtick though, because why should he do crazy moves? He's a giant dude.
No,
All
right.
he should
All right.
really do is grab you
But
and like headbutt you.
But I felt like
remember-
his best times were before that when he was battling Big John Studd and King Kong
Yeah.
Bundy.
I remember when me
his
and
real
Green
match.
Dog,
That's why he never held the title, because they couldn't put him against the big guy.
when me and Green Dog
You know
were
what I mean?
kids.
They couldn't put him in those.
But
matches.
back in the day,
We
he
had-
was agile.
When me and Green
He
Dog were
was,
kids,
definitely.
we had a rubber action figure of Andre the Giant, and he was a skinny, tall guy with a fro.
With the blue,
yeah, the
John,
blue,
yeah.
the blue
Yeah, I
tight.
had that.
He wasn't the Andre Giant that
But
most people know.
what I'm saying is,
Sure.
when I remember him
I just
actually
drank all the
wrestling matches, they were against Big John Studd, Hillbilly Jim, and King Kong Bundy.
See, what I
That's
remember.
it. That's the only people I really remember. Like, and then after that, he was wrestling Hogan and these guys. You know, he was in Piper's
But I
Pit
don't-
every week and everything like that.
You're a year older
but
than
it
me.
was for it was for nothing. I mean, it was for nothing. You know what I mean? It wasn't real matches.
Right.
Weird segue, not to interrupt you. I watched a video on the internet the other day, as I'm an avid Bigfoot follower. I watched an episode of The $6 Million Man where he fought Bigfoot, and Andre the Giant was Bigfoot. And it was absolutely ridiculous. You should YouTube it. It's actually really cool.
if any pro wrestler is gonna be Bigfoot, it's gotta
Oh,
be
and
Giant
he was a
Gonzalez.
great... No.
He came out dressed as Bigfoot
But
to his
this was
matches.
this was before Giant Gonzalez's time. This was in the late
But that's what-
60s, early 70s.
Even Giant Gonzalez only had one big match. It was against Undertaker, right? That was at a
At
WrestleMania, I think, or
WrestleMania,
a
when
summer
he came down-
at a
they came
SummerSlam
down
or
in
something
the-
like that.
in the
Yeah,
That was
Rings.
WrestleMania.
Right.
That was WrestleMania like 10 or something.
I mean, the-
9 maybe.
the big guys, the big guys, really haven't been able to hold their due. I don't think in a legit match.
My point with Andre the Giant is there's always these purists or whatever they want to call themselves say, oh, Andre the Giant's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Oh, I remember watching him wrestle when he was fucking good and shit, or like when he was agile and stuff. It's like, no, fuck you. I hate people like that. That's like, listen, you're as old as me. I'm 32 years old. I remember Andre the Giant fighting Hulk Hogan, then fighting as a tag team partner. Yeah, I can go back and look at Andre the Giant fighting years earlier, but to say that, oh, I remember Andre the Giant when he was like really quick and agile. First off, he was never quick and agile in WWF. Period.
No.
It was way before, not way before, but when it was
But who
a territory
really
of
beats a
Vince
guy
McMahon.
that big? When I read that article
No one.
the other day about the match in WrestleMania 3 when Hulk slammed Andre, they said that they didn't make the decision on who was going to win that match until a few hours right before it. And Hogan even said he was kind of unsure about the match because if they picked him to win, he didn't know how Andre was going to take it because he knew that if they were really going to fight, there's no way he could have really beat Andre. And
That's
he
how
wasn't
Andre
sure.
was.
He wasn't sure Andre was going to want to take the loss.
Well, here's the thing about everything I've read about WrestleMania 4 is that the reason that Andre and Hogan didn't win that was because neither one of them could do 3 matches in a row. That's why Macho Man took the title. Because he was one of the only guys that could do 3 matches in a row.
But,
Right,
yeah,
yes.
Hogan's greatest
It-
wrestler of all time.
when they had the tournament.
Hogan
They-
knew though going
they-
into that WrestleMania
they
3
counted
match,
out
if
Hogan
Andre
and-
wanted to win, there's
and-
no way he could have beat him.
Right. Well, they counted out Hogan and Andre in the first match. They met up in the first round and they counted each other out.
But Andre has always been
and that was why, because they couldn't do 3 matches in one night.
right.
I gotta pee.
But my
And
point-
another
That's
reason-
such a cool WrestleMania. They should do something like that again.
Right, and that's
Fucking
another
tournament.
reason why the one-man
That's
gang
awesome.
had to go out early. because he wasn't able to take the load. So, and it was kind of, which is one thing I've always liked about the $1 Million Man too. He was able to do
He's a
3
worker,
matches
man.
in one. Yeah, he was
Yeah, he
able to do
was.
3 matches in one night.
But
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not.
You talk about Andre the Giant, like saying that he might not take the lay down. First, he's a fucking professional. He's going to take that. He's going to, whatever Vince McMahon says, hey, listen, you're losing this match. He's like, okay, I'm losing this match. He would never not do that, from what I understand. I don't know fucking Andre personally, so I'm not going to act like I
think
fucking
if
do.
he didn't like the person he was wrestling against or didn't like any little thing, he would shit his pants in the ring.
Right, but he would do what he was told.
He literally did that. Like he would shit his pants.
But they used to say that about Kevin Nash too.
As a rib.
Kevin Nash would fall down to another dude, but if it was a guy he didn't like, he'd make him pay for it.
Right, but
you know
Kevin
what I mean?
Nash was-
so for that match, he'd beat the guy up real bad, and then he'd end up falling over to him. He did that for Shawn Michaels when they were starting to have a problem, and that was a WrestleMania too, like WrestleMania 8 or something.
But Nash was writing for WCW back then.
Right.
I mean, he was.
But he was still a very big man that could do whatever he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't want to pin him, you weren't going to do it.
You know what I was thinking?
You know what I mean?
about
That's
today?
where it is with those guys.
I was thinking about the Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels feud, and how much didn't HBK dominate that feud?
I don't know. I wasn't watching wrestling back then.
I have memories of HBK winning specific matches. I don't remember Bret Hart winning a lot of those matches. HBK
you're right, you're
won
right, yeah,
the
you're
Iron
right.
Man match.
Pretty
won
sure
the
he
Survivor
dominated him
Series
as a
match, he got
rocker,
screwed
too.
on.
yeah.
You know, what other matches are there?
Well, they did a lot of back then. They were doing in your house bullshit matches, and that was when they were doing Canadian and versus him and
Canada?
British Bulldog and Jim the Animal Neidhart were all together, and then Shawn Michaels would team up with the Patriot.
You were right.
Speak on him.
You were right.
And all these other bullshit guys, and they would have a big match like that.
Yeah,
That's the first
those
time.
in your
That's the first
houses,
time
yeah.
they started doing pay-per-views once a month.
Right, yeah, they when they didn't have a
where
name for
America
it
went
yet.
to hell.
They didn't have
They were
a
in
name
your
for the
house. They
pay
were
per
in
view.
your
It's
house,
called in
yeah.
your house. That's when we had
when America
the free
went to
pay per view.
Right. Yes. But that's where I don't know if you've been watching recently. They're trying to sell because everybody knows that Brock might be leaving, that they might screw him over.
retaining.
Heyman comes out and says, "Oh, nobody's going to do the Montreal screw job to Brock Lesnar because he will."
Murdered you.
Yeah, he will put you over, or whatever. And I think they're just selling that. I don't know what they're trying to do now because Roman Reigns can't carry it. He can't
No, we've
carry
talked
it.
about this before.
They don't have it
Lesnar's
right.
going
They
A
over.
lot
don't.
of
Something
people are
happened
high
right
on Roman
before
Reigns
or
right
maybe
now,
not.
but I don't see it either.
Here's a problem.
You can
They
never
can't
make
sell
him
that.
a star.
They can't sell
They're
that
just gonna
right
build
now.
Up all this is he, isn't he? Up until
Apparently,
WrestleMania, he's not.
from what I've seen on Facebook, a lot of females like him, but there's no way you're not going to make money off because females like him. He's not going to be a star.
He's shit, man. The whole fucking professional wrestling is shit. It's been shit for fucking.
It's an easy fix.
60
It's such an easy fix.
It absolutely
too.
is,
A
but they
lot of
won't do
people
it.
are upset with
Just be a pro
when I was
wrestling
talking
company.
the last
That's all you have to
podcast.
do. Just
Yeah.
be and do pro wrestling matches. Put on a pro wrestling show.
But why would we do that? Why would I do
There's
that?
good
when it's
guys and bad
sports
guys. It's
entertainment?
very simple.
The last
But
podcast
they don't want to
when I was
push the
talking
best
about
guys because the best guys aren't going to sell shirts.
the last podcast
Yeah.
when I was
The
talking
best
about Bret
wrestlers
Hart,
right now
he
will
also
sell
said
shirts. You know
he
what
was
I mean?
upset
That's the
that
problem.
Daniel Bryan is even in the championship running,
Why?
or because he said apparently he thinks Daniel Bryan's garbage.
How the fuck is he garbage? Daniel Bryan isn't much smaller than Bret Hart. So if he's talking about being small,
Hey,
Bret Hart
I'm
is
not
like
saying I
maybe
agree
6
with it.
foot.
I'm just saying what I read.
There's absolutely no argument for what's going on in professional wrestling right now, except for Vince McMahon has an ego that's outside of this fucking world, and Paul Lesvoig, whatever the fuck his name is.
No,
It's-
from my understanding, Vince McMahon's losing a lot of money. A lot, like
He is.
The
Listen,
WWE network didn't work out like really how he wanted it to,
Oh,
and
Make him hurt even more,
he's,
man.
He's trying. That's Like, have you noticed that WrestleMania is coming up, but you haven't seen the promotions for it that you normally do because McMahon doesn't have the money that he used to do because
and they're not quite sure what
since
the
he
fuck
put
they're
out
gonna do.
the WWE Network, they're losing a lot of money.
And you know the best
you're
part
hating on
is-
the WWE, and saying it is garbage, and I'm not saying that it's not,
is,
but
dude, total garbage.
it's close to going under.
It needs
Well,
to.
it's not, I don't know about
Yeah, I
going
don't
under.
believe that for
But-
one minute, but
However,
I-
there
I-
is.
I-
Well, what they got 2 shows a
I
week.
think they're
They can't support that.
they're
for much
pushing
longer.
matches that they
Look at
weren't
all the guys
expecting
that
to
are coming
push
out.
now. You know what I
they're
mean?
pushing matches
Because
that they expect to push. They're pushing that on the fucking consumer because that's what they want to do.
no, but I think they expected to have Undertaker in a different. They expected to have Undertaker there.
Green Dog. My
Do you
point.
think that Undertaker really wants to wrestle again
Right,
at
that's what I'm saying. He's
WrestleMania?
not going to, but I'm
No,
saying
he
they.
is. He's wrestling Bray Wyatt.
Well, they were expecting to have him in a bigger. They were expecting to have him and Sting be this huge match,
Sting's
and then they
fighting
had to throw
Triple
Triple
H.
H. Right, they had to throw Triple H in there
I'd
because
rather see him
Undertaker
uses
can't-
again, as
because-
I'm calling it. Bray Wyatt's going over on Undertaker.
Who gives a shit? He lost
Then
for no
he's
reason.
gonna end.
Oh,
He's not
totally.
gonna wrestle
Yeah.
again after
Well,
that.
that's what-
Bray Wyatt's. I
What
think,
a
gonna
way to
win
put
that
somebody
match.
over. He
But the
completely
problem
ends his
is,
career.
the problem is Undertaker can't wrestle the
He's that kinda
match
guy, I
versus Sting that they need him to wrestle right
Sting,
now.
do you think
is the
Sting
problem.
can win a match? Have you seen it?
Yes,
lately?
I think Sting's
You think
still.
he's gonna beat
Yeah, I
Triple
think
H?
Sting's still a stud.
That's not the problem.
No, they're
I mean,
I think Sting and
love
Triple H
Sting,
will have
don't
a
get me
hell of a
wrong.
match. I
I
really
love
do.
his
I think it'll
character.
be good.
I love
It'll be
everything
good.
he's done for
it will
years,
be
but
too.
they're beating a dead horse there.
When the hell has Sting been in the ring with someone like Triple H?
Yeah.
Who can put on a match like Triple H?
Triple
in a
H is
long
gonna
time.
mur-
It hasn't been since like Flair or something, and way back.
Triple
in
H
WCW.
is going to murder him.
That's been years ago.
Someone's going to interfere.
And besides Flair, there
It's
wasn't
not going to
many
be a
other
fair
people you could
match
do that
because
with.
Sting doesn't stand a chance in a fair match against.
Sting
Triple
and
H.
Triple H, I think, will be a fantastic match.
But I'm looking forward to seeing the entrances to those because
Oh yeah.
you remember a couple years ago WrestleMania, the Triple H and Undertaker match.
yes,
Those
yeah,
two
but-
entrances, I brought a tear to my eye.
But it was the
Triple
same
H
way.
came
Triple
out
H
to
and Undertaker should
Metallica.
have never been fighting
Undertaker
in that
came out to
match.
Johnny
That's what I'm saying.
Cash.
That's
That was fucking
They
When
are-
May comes
badass.
around,
Yeah.
they
yeah,
aren't
he's gonna
matching
come to
up.
that this year.
They're not
Triple H
matching up
came
the
out
right
to For
people
Whom
in
the
the
Bell
right
Tolls.
matches.
Nice.
That shit
That's
was
the whole- the
sick.
matchmaking
I mean, I
is
seriously was
brutal, in
brought
my
a tear
opinion.
to my eye. How badass that was.
Damn, I'd have played Metallica tonight.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. But they're
But
totally.
that might be the highlight of the Sting and Triple H match. The entrance.
No, I think they'll put on a good match.
I
I
think
think
it's
that's
gonna
going
be
to
a
be a good match. I think
Sting is overweight and
He knows how to work.
Right,
Grab a
yeah,
headlock, work
he's-
an arm, and tell a story.
he's like a Shawn Michaels. Yeah, he can make a good match with anybody. I
That's
think,
true,
and it
that's
doesn't
true.
matter
I
when you
agree.
put him in there,
and I'm
where you
looking
put him in
forward
there.
to seeing it.
And even if he's out of shape, he can do it better than most people, in my opinion.
Except
but-
Titus O'Neil.
I feel like this the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match is going to be really good too.
Man, I think it's gonna
in the main event though.
it's gonna be a lot of fluff, that match. I
It's gonna
think.
be fucking
The
Brutes
entrances.
Magoots. Bray Wyatt's going over, putting Undertaker out of wrestling. He's gonna lose because he will do that. Because no one's gonna expect Undertaker to lose 2 years in a fucking row. They're totally expecting him to win.
But right,
He's gonna be
and
done.
if he
'cause he doesn't wanna
wins,
wrestle.
if he
can't.
wins, they're going to expect him to wrestle next year.
No, he's gonna be out. He's putting Bray Wyatt over more.
But
than
you,
he's ever
so you
put
think
somebody
that
fucking over.
Undertaker's last match is gonna be against Bray
Against
Wyatt?
Bray
I
Wyatt.
don't believe that.
Who I feel
That's
like
the
has
way
gotten a
today's
hell of a
WWE is
push.
gonna
I
that
think
he
he'll
shouldn't
come
have.
back. I think he'll come back for something. I really do.
I don't know. I mean, what's an Undertaker win do or prove or do anything? An Undertaker loss to Bray Wyatt makes Bray Wyatt look like a badass. Undertaker's done. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He's done. He's lost. He lost 2 in a row. He's fucking done. He's retired. And
But-
what a way to go out. No one would expect that.
True. And talking about the what is your favorite entrance of all time? I
Anytime Macho Man came through the curtain.
I don't know. Undertaker, when the lights went out, I mean that still gets a hold of me.
The Stone Cold
Dong.
Shattered Glass.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Stone
Cold
Cold.
Shattered Glass. I agree
Stone
with this
Cold
guy.
Shattered
but-
Glass.
But
You already know.
I
You-
mean-
you know it's whoop ass
Big-
time.
Oh fuck.
being there live,
Yeah,
The Undertaker's was
we've seen them both.
unbelievable. But I never really saw the Macho Man's live, and I
Yeah,
will
true.
I
always
just love
I
to
saw
this day.
Hogan.
I mean, if I'm at a graduation and I hear da 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 da, yeah, I grab my tights and I start looking around for whoever I can drop the fucking elbow
true.
on. You know, that's what I'm looking for right then.
That's what happens.
So it is one that
I've
that-
seen Hogan, The Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, and Stone Cold. I'd have to say that, Undertaker and Stone Cold, though, that it's an even kill for me. They're both, But the crowd when the glass breaks.
Yeah, I used to have the Stone Cold as my ringtone on my phone.
Stone Cold's great, but I mean, you look at Hulk Hogan and his entrance. Through the
Right.
years, it's just been phenomenal.
But I almost like the NWO entrance better than the Real American. Honestly,
I mean, I do kind of too, but
when he'd come down and play that belt,
Real
I
man,
take a
that'd
lot
get me
of that
going.
kind of stuff with a grain of salt too, because that was just absolutely shoved down your throat. That
which
just,
was
Hogan wins every time, and
Right.
and it's Hogan.
That's what he should be. He earned it.
Hogan had the personality.
He made
and the look and
wrestling.
everything, and,
Him and Vince McMahon.
and that's good. But it's just he won every time, and so it's just ingrained in you that Hogan's coming out. It's it's-
but the question was
know.
though, greatest entrances of all time, and every time you hear that, dun 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 dun.
oh, here
dun,
comes
dun.
another big boot leg drop, new champ.
Damn right, here comes another big. You know it immediately. You're like, oh, fucking Hogan.
You know what? When that article I read earlier, when Hogan slammed Andre and pinned him, that was the last time he won at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 3 was the last time Hogan won a match at WrestleMania. For the
Horrible information.
Well, technically, he won at WrestleMania 10 when he came out.
yeah, he came out and beat
Beat Yoko.
Yokozuna after he beat
That's true.
all right,
Triple-
you're right.
or
Actually, I
Bret
think the
Hart.
article said that was the last time he
Yeah.
Oh,
defended the title.
well, let's just quickly change the facts of the article.
Good point.
So, by the way, you really did win?
I attended WrestleMania 8.
Okay, so
But
he
I
lost
also
every-
think Ric Flair's
I was gonna
music
say I'm
holds a
attending
lot
WrestleMania,
of. When
that's
you
it.
hear Ric Flair's music,
I'm having
I mean,
a lot of trouble.
you know what it
holding
is.
these
You know what I'm
crocodiles
saying?
down. Alligators.
There's a lot of guys that are really, really good superstars that you couldn't even tell me what their entrance music is.
Shit, I can tell you, I'm an entrance music.
Yeah.
Well,
Looking
it's your
historian.
favorite. Well, enlighten us. What's your favorite?
I already said anytime Macho Man came out.
Oh, come on.
Hogan's not my favorite.
next
Don't get
favorite,
me wrong,
then?
but it's got to be iconic.
What's
It's
your
iconic.
favorite?
Shit,
What's
I've
your
got so many
favorite
favorites? ECW
WWE era entrance?
WWF entrance. Okay, so I have Macho Man.
WWE era.
Jericho's high on that mine for my WWF.
WWE
See?
era.
I
The
like-
entertainment
Yeah,
era.
it is classic. It is very classic.
The
Very
entertainment
early
era.
Jericho.
Yeah,
coming
early
out.
Jericho.
I like Jericho too.
But I'm saying, what was the Patriots music?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All you
Brando.
Patriot fans in the house, what was his music? The national anthem.
I think that was the music. All you Patriots fans in the house, what's your favorite music? And then they did
It's
that
whatever it
every
was. Yeah, whatever everybody was there for.
Patriotic music at the time.
When it was in Boston, it was Sweet Carol Hine. When you
Hey,
yeah.
Whatever the most
Another badass.
Born in the
entrance-
USA.
Another badass entrance is whenever you fucking heard the and the fucking bagpipes play.
No, I agree with that.
Rowdy-
I like
Rowdy
I like
fucking
Rowdy
Piper
Piper.
comes out.
Yeah.
Now that's an entrance.
I'm a big fan of DX.
It's a great
too, though.
song.
Their entrance.
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty
DX.
good.
That was fucking Attitude Era right there
Yeah.
at the beginning.
See, that's
DX music.
until see that's $1 Million Man's became in
See,
money, 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 money.
how about
everybody's?
How about
You know,
how about
that was.
Wait, keep going.
how about
That
wrestlers
was
that did their own
I mean,
entrance music?
I
Like
love
that was
that.
$1 Million Man that did his.
He made his own
HBK
belt.
too.
I mean, he had
Yeah.
a lot.
HBK.
Even though it was originally Sharon Martel singing the song. It was.
It was still HBK though.
WrestleMania 8, man. I was there. Who's your dog?
WrestleMania 8.
I was there.
Flair Savage.
I saw
Flair
these-
Savage.
What
Fuck
an
yeah.
event to be at.
And you know what Savage did? Pull the tights. Pull the
Of
tights for
course.
the victory, man.
That's how he wins?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, he wins other ways, but
Pulling
he
the
does pull the tights.
tights is the next most effective maneuver besides hitting someone with a championship belt, because that knocks you out every time.
Put
I
the
always
feet in the
get
ropes.
and I watch a lot. I mean, I watch matches and watch them, but to me, 2 of the best 3 matches of all time, Randy Savage was in, which
Well, yeah, he's
was
the greatest wrestler. He is the greatest wrestler. of all
him
time.
and Ricky Steamboat in WrestleMania 3 was a classic match, and they did it in a small package.
Yeah.
And then and that's the thing, the greatest thing
Small package.
about him being able to work with the Ultimate Warrior. And that match was awesome. If
The
you
retirement
rewatch it,
match?
yes, that retirement match is one of the,
Ooh.
to me, the top 3 matches of all time.
The weirdest thing about that match, and it was like the 9 shoulder blocks in a
Right.
row or whatever.
Well,
it was.
he dropped the elbow 3 or 4 times in a row, but that's what I loved about it was because he kept covering him, and you thought it was going to be
shoulder
over,
block.
and he'd kick out. And then they tore at your heartstring with Miss Elizabeth coming down. She
Right,
was in
but-
the crowd at the time.
But he worked that match. That's
no,
why
that's what I'm saying. He was able to do Ultimate Warrior
That's the beauty
over,
the madness,
which
man.
is one of the worst wrestlers, really, of all time.
He's
But
hot
he was
up there.
able to have one of the greatest matches ever.
He had a good match
with
every
him.
time he
Yeah.
fucking stepped in the
That's what I
ring.
mean. That's my third one would be Stone Cold and Bret Hart. But between those 2 guys, you expect that match.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to have a great match every time they're together. They're both great.
Yeah, I
That
got
submission
screwed
like,
match
neither
is-
neither one of them have to work each other because
That
they're
couldn't
both
have went
working.
over any more perfectly, that submission
Right.
match. The
The
way,
way
that
he
ended,
cut
the way
himself,
he's bleeding.
yes.
Getting color.
Yeah.
Oh
And they
my
ended up
God,
make-
that was so
and
good.
they ended up making more money off of him bleeding out. You know, they were able to sell shirts and everything else like that. I mean,
It's an iconic
Yeah,
picture right
blood
there.
sells shirts.
it sucked that Bret Hart sold out to the WCW shortly after that.
Well, that's up for debate.
Who's debate?
Yeah, what's up for debate?
are we debating?
about that?
He either did or he didn't.
He did. He did it.
I think that's debatable.
I think
He had a
Bret Hart
contract
is
with
insane.
WCW.
He got screwed.
And-
He went to the WCW.
and believed like
That's
he
the other
was,
side of
He
it.
didn't get screwed. He already went to the WCW and then he
No,
got screwed.
no, that's not true.
He's
That is
Bret,
true.
I think Bret Hart is half mentally retarded and thinks of himself as a UFC style
Right,
fighter,
I agree with
and
JD
thinks that
on
he
this.
is like legitimately the best.
I agree with JD.
And no one could possibly beat him. And him
How about-
losing, he fucking
How
left.
about Ken Shamrock's run though in the WWE? Speaking of UFC,
It could have been
do
better.
you think he could have? Do you think he didn't get a fair shot? Could he have been?
It could have been better. They had Dan Severn around the same time.
Yeah,
they could have
Dan
had
Severn
some.
came in.
They
But
should have
never
built
let
up a
them
big super
fight.
fight. They should have built
Yeah.
up a big
They
UFC
didn't let
style
them
super
fight.
fight.
Right.
Exactly.
No holds barred.
See, we should be booking. Why aren't we booking?
But Bret Hart
Well,
was
maybe
like
that's our next step.
the best player right now on the Golden State Warriors, and next year he gets he gets offered $1 more million to go to the Hawks, and he does it.
Well,
and the
that's not
next
what
year the
happened.
Hawks suck,
That's not what happened.
Yeah.
and the Warriors are still awesome.
I don't feel like that's what happened at all.
Yes, that's what happened. He was never going to
No,
be as big as he was in the
supposed to win that
WWE.
match,
Yeah, and then
and he got screwed.
Who would
Why
do
wouldn't
that,
you?
though?
Why wouldn't you have a bitter taste in
Well,
your mouth?
that's also
after
debatable.
no, he had already
That? No, that's
signed
not
another
debatable.
deal.
I've seen Bret Hart and Vince McMahon both say that that's what happened.
Well, yeah, kind of. We need to take a break. We're gonna
That's a
take.
good idea.
We're gonna take a quick break,
Gotta pee.
and then we're gonna
Gotta
go
get a beer.
talk about goddamn Bret Hart and his goddamn piece of shit.
We're gonna
life.
Google. We're gonna Google YouTube.
Google me.
We're gonna
you
Google
fuckers.
YouTube.
We're gonna
Green
Google
Dog.
what YouTube is, and then we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
And we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We'll be right back.
And now back to the group that puts the day in bidet. It's Thunder and Lightning, the best tag team since Power and Glory. Let me throw it back to the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew Pico.
Tornado, yeah!
Our announcer doesn't even know what we're
Very
doing.
nice. Very nice, Green Dog.
We're not even close to like fading out right now.
Hey, it was the first issue.
All right, now
Fade-out begins.
go.
And now back to the two men that put the day in bidet. It's Thunder and Lightning, the best tag team since Power and Glory. Let me tell you, Matthew Thunder.
He has no idea what our names are.
Woo!
Tornado.
A tornado. Yeah. The Tasmanian Devil. He's got many names. Take it away.
He's a ball of
I have
lightning.
one name, and it's Matt Tornado.
Hey, I'm new here.
Oh, we are back live with the Pull the Tights podcast with Johnny Danger.
That's not what I told him to say.
Yeah.
Our producer.
Yeah, talk to my producer.
Newly hired producer Jesse Powell. And
Newly hired in full control.
intern, where were you on that with the
Yeah,
cards?
He really dropped the ball. The intern
Few
hired.
cards
And he
there.
somehow has a
That's
vote.
not what I wrote down.
Got-
We're blaming it on the intern.
We got Jacob and Thana Green to my left, and then Brando Willis has said, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go watch TV or something." I don't know what he's doing.
Jaying the fuck O.
He's Jaying it o.
Still basketball.
Oh yeah, there's totally basketball going on right now. Don't doubt it. It's gonna happen. So,
It's 1 in the morning.
is it really? Jesus Christ! What happened? What are we doing here?
Time flies when you're podcasting.
Yeah. We were talking about Bret Hart earlier before we went to break, and how I'm right and Green Dog's wrong, and how I'm always right and Green Dog is always wrong, and that Bret Hart
It's a fair assessment.
exactly. Bret Hart kind of Bret screwed Bret.
No, I agree with that. I'm not saying that Bret Hart already had an agenda before that all happened, is what I'm saying. So he was already going to WCW.
And Vince knew that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I believe that Vince did know that, and he was going to let him put the title off on himself, and then he was going to take it from him the next day at Raw, and that's what didn't happen.
Well,
If I'm wrong about that, somebody
Vince.
correct
think
me.
you
Well, I
are,
don't
like,
think that. I'm
instantly
going to
wrong,
say you are
because
wrong
didn't he-
because that's not what happened.
Because didn't he sign? I'm pretty sure he signed like a 30-year contract.
Who,
or
Bret Hart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
insane.
exactly.
He signed his
Lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract, essentially. And then,
With the WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
Vince-
backed out on that, though.
Exactly.
That's what happened. They backed out on that. So that's what I'm saying. They
Vince backed out on that.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, the WWE,
They don't
the
sign it
WWF
as a
backed out on that
signed
contract.
I was thinking Bret Hart wrestling with shadows.
Or
I
a
don't remember.
Bret-
I believe it was
Bret
signed.
it.
Right, yes, I believe it was a signed
It
deal.
was a signed done deal, and then WWE says, I don't know if we should have done this.
Yes.
And then Bret was like, all right, I'm willing to rework my deal. And then, I don't remember what happened, but, I mean, it was shitty on both parts. It's like
Before
new
that,
business.
the screw job happened, though, they knew he was leaving.
Well, absolutely. That's my
right,
point, though.
that's my point.
Is that Vince screwed him on his current contract, and Bret's like, fuck you, then I'm going to go look at
Right.
HW.
Right,
So,
but
I
they
mean,
knew he was leaving the next week, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
And I'm saying, for him,
Why
he
would
was
you
the
screw
biggest.
him?
He was the biggest star there. He didn't know what he was going to be in WCW, so why go to WCW at that
At
point
the
for
time,
him?
WCW was hanging 10 with the WWE then.
Hanging 10.
Well,
Good surf reference.
technology be.
We go to 11.
Yeah. If you have 11 toes, we could have won 11.
No, but I'm saying he was rolling the dice. He already knew what he had at WWE, and he was rolling the dice expecting him to be a bigger signee at WCW. He was saying, I'm such a big star. When I go to WCW, it ain't going to matter. And when he got there, it didn't it didn't matter. They didn't want him. They didn't
I
care.
never knew Bret Hart.
They didn't want
How
WCW didn't want a baby face at that point.
I never thought Bret Hart had his WCW contract before the screw job.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he did. Well, at least it was. Maybe it wasn't signed, sealed, delivered, but he knew that he was going there. They knew he was going there. What the screw job was he was gonna win that night in Canada, and then deliver the title, but not even drop it in a match. He was just gonna say, I'm done with the WWF. Here's the title. You know, they wanted him. He wanted to be able to go in there and say, "Here, Sean, take the title. Except you never beat me." You know what I mean? That was the. And they didn't want it.
Sean-
Times before.
Right.
Brett never wanted to leave. Is my point though. He was kind of forced out by Vince McMahon. It's like because he signed this contract with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's like, I'm not going to honor this contract anymore. I'll sign to a much lesser contract. And WCW was offering this massive contract to him at the time, and he just was. It's kind of like Razor or Kevin Nash. It's like you are not matching this contract. I'm gonna go do what's best for my
Yeah,
family.
but the difference, Razor and Kevin Nash were not the top guy there at the time. That's
Kevin
what-
Nash was when he left.
They weren't the.
He was the main sir.
They weren't at the level that Bret Hart was.
No,
To me,
I'm not
disagree.
100% sure
Bret
he
Hart-
even offered him a contract, but he knows as soon as he goes to WCW, he's instantly their top guy. Doesn't
At the
even matter
time,
if they
though,
even offered
the
him
thing-
one.
Oh, they fucked him up.
the time was
they
at the
totally
time
fucked him up,
WCW
yeah.
didn't have a baby face at all because the NWO was just running everybody over, and you couldn't believe that anybody could beat the
They
NWO.
didn't want any baby
right?
faces.
And they thought
They just
he
wanted
would be the
NWO.
guy that
Wasn't
come
selling.
in and to
Well, he
go
was
against
hurt.
It could have
NWO,
if
and
they-
it didn't work.
If
Tits-
they knew what the fuck they were doing,
Tits,
they
ass,
could have had a
and
baby face
tits, ass, and cuss
Go over
words
the
were
NWO.
winning it then.
and still put the NWO over.
Because if you look at it, they ended up having to go heel against heel. They didn't have to break up the NWO and make a different NWO to fight the NWO.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a baby
they
face that
overplayed
could
their
fight 'em.
hand. They
Well,
overplayed their
eventually
hand.
did. They had a good little angle going with Sting in NWO.
Well, here's my point.
Yeah, and then he ended up in the NWO.
with Bret Hart was
They
that
ate him up.
when he signed with WCW, he got hurt immediately. Like he was out for a very long time, and that means what they had planned for Bret didn't actually happen because he was hurt. He was hurt for like 2 months before he actually made his appearance. And well, he made an appearance, but he never actually wrestled in WCW for like 2 months because he was hurt. And then 2 months happened. WCW was tanking at that time, and they're just like, oh, "Okay, here's Bret Hart. I don't know what to do with you. Just go out and make me money and save the company." That's what happened to Bret Hart.
So you're a Bret Hart sympathizer.
I am not, but
Well, they're dumb. You know how he made his entrance in WCW?
yeah, they're idiots.
His
Yes, I
first
know that.
in-ring thing that he did, he's special guest referee. The debut of Bret Hart. In
They had no
WCW,
idea what they had.
He was a special guest referee.
Well, he's hurt.
that
Like
doesn't
Kirk
make any
said, I
fucking
guess.
sense.
No, WCW is definitely killed by terrible writing. I mean, they had the components to be a good wrestling organization.
Oh,
and they
their
just
roster. was
Monday Nitro.
Yeah, they just killed themselves with what's his name
I remember
was a
being
terrible
torn
writer.
They had
between
so much.
just
watching
terrible
Monday Night
writing.
Raw or Monday Nitro, switching back and forth and trying to figure out which one
That
I was
the
going
best
to
part
watch.
about wrestling.
I've
You
never,
flip back and forth.
wrestling or any other show. I've never. Well, I mean, obviously this is before the TiVo DVR age. I've never been torn between two shows in my entire life, except for Monday Night Raw
That's-
and Monday Nitro.
That's a fantastic fucking point.
And it only lasted for a little while, but man, that's good TV.
No shit, I never thought.
'Cause I watch a lot of TV, but now you have the DVR,
Right,
things
but
like that.
but
don't happen,
WCW had the chance to
but
take
come
that
on.
over, and they
But
screwed
yeah, that's what I'm
themselves.
saying.
They didn't do the
WCW
right
was right
things.
there.
Yeah, they didn't
I
do the
was
right
torn
thing.
for a little while. Growing up,
Everyone was, and when else has that happened? That's never happened to where it's like you're watching the same thing, but you're going back and fucking forth, and you have to fucking watch it instantly like that.
right?
you know
And
what I'm saying?
people, and you know, in
I
this
mean, it's like
age
every
have
couple
the
minutes you're
TiVo,
flipping back and forth.
right? In
Only pro
Depending on
wrestling,
which
man.
match.
WCW, WWF.
yeah,
That's awesome.
only time in my entire life I've ever been torn to watch one
That's
show or
gone
another
now.
was Monday Nitro or Monday Night Raw, and I'm like flipping back and forth.
Yeah,
and I'm
but the
distraught. Which match do I
WCW
watch?
shit out pretty quick. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah,
they
it was
they had it
short
out
amount
a
of time.
year and a half worth of time because they
I don't even
didn't
know
know
if
how
it was
to.
that
I think.
long, but there was a
correct me. I
time,
think
though,
that's
where they were right there.
The name I'm looking. Vince Russo is the one
Vince
who's
Russo.
an idiot. You know, it was the
Well,
idiot
kinda.
writing just
Depends who you
terrible,
talk
Well,
to.
he
terrible
sucks.
things.
Well, he sucked, but everybody in WCW sucked.
And I'll tell you
Everybody
what,
showed up and like there was nobody in charge and like nobody gave a fuck about
No,
anything. And
Kevin Nash was writing shit for WCW is what was happening, and you know you can't fucking let him. You can't let wrestlers. You can't shit where you eat. You know, and that's what was happening in WCW for so fucking long. And I mean, you've watched documentaries on fucking NWO and just like.
Well, and it wasn't even just him, though. I mean, it wasn't just Kevin Nash. There
Well,
was
no,
other
it took
people.
several different people to make that thing fail, but that was one of the things that made it fail.
Like they said, every single person that ever came over to WCW, they all say the exact same thing. They all say they came over. Nobody knew who was in charge. Like, they were just kind of went out there and did things.
Right.
And they should have done. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. Nobody gave a fuck
I
about it.
thought Bischoff was in charge.
He was supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
That's the outro.
That should have kind of came in a little slower. We need a goddamn new fucking producer your way.
You're the producer. You're a dick. Why did that happen?
I asked for a time frame. In the producer's defense, he asked for a time frame, and no one told him.
Well, that's because Danger's a dick.
I
Well,
forgot to fade in.
Green Dog,
Alright,
it's been
here-
great.
Nope.
Yep, we'll pick it up later, pal.
Oh.
I'm Matthew Tornado. Across from me is Johnny Danger. We are Thunder and Goddamn Lightning.
Signing off.
You guys are more than welcome to come back next Sunday. We have one of our podcasts. We are the Pull the Cast because I fuck that up every goddamn time.
Every time you can't say
Every
it.
time. Pull the Tights podcast. We'll see you in a week. Chat.
I did chat.